In this video, I'm going to go into why I believe the UK is not the best place for young people to be living in 2025. And I really do believe that most people in their 20s will benefit from leaving the UK. I really don't think the current state of the country's in, and just the vibe of the UK, why it definitely isn't the best place for people in their 20s to live. And we'll go into that in today's video. Before we get into it, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. Now, as you guys might know, I am massively for getting out of your hometown, exploring the world, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, traveling. As you guys might know, I'm obviously for all of that. For you guys who are new to the channel, you might know that I am currently living out of the UK. In fact, I've been living out of the UK for over 3 years now, and I believe it's been the best thing for me. I think getting out of the UK has benefited me in a lot of ways. Yes, there's been difficult times, but there's a lot of benefits that have come from leaving the UK. Will I go back to the UK ever? Probably will. Realistically, all my friends and family are back there. I'm not against living in the UK altogether. Realistically, I'll probably move back there one day. But in my 20s, I believe it's the best thing I could have done is to get out. And I believe it's the same for a lot of you guys who are in your 20s. Getting out of the UK is a great idea. So let's go into some reasons. So the first point is the overall negative culture of the UK. It's just a negative culture in general. I feel like it's a sort of place where if you have any ambitions or you do well for yourself, people look down on you, people aren't very supportive, and it's not the sort of place I feel like you want to grow, you want to get better, you want to do well for yourself, because you're just going to get hated on and no one's going to support you. You're almost going to be looked down upon for having ambitions. Now, I'll come into the whole cycle with the rat race that everyone seems to be in the UK, but it almost seems like anyone who wants to step out of that is almost looked down upon. Everyone is in such a bubble in the UK, and a lot of people, they're fed up with their own lives. So anyone who wants to do well for themselves or has ambitions, people don't like it because it's a reflection on their own lives. And yeah, I just don't feel like there's a massive culture for wanting to do well. Very few people from my hometown I found were ambitious. I found everyone was just kind of in their shell, just going about their lives. For me, I wanted more than that. That's why I moved abroad, because I knew that I wanted to be surrounded by people who are on a similar path to me, other travelers, people who have made that move as well. I wanted to be surrounded by people like that. Back in the UK, it's a negative and depressing culture, and people are just going through their lives without really much ambition, no real goals, and being surrounded by that all the time isn't exactly inspiring, and I don't think it's good for young people. Yes, you can move to certain places in the UK where there is a lot more of a buzz, a lot more of a positive vibe, like the cities possibly. But even then, I just feel like the whole UK in general, it does have a negative vibe, particularly towards those people who want to have ambitions and that want to surround themselves with other people who are like-minded. I find that hard to find in the UK. The next point is because of the rat race, the cycle, the system. Don't get me wrong, lots of countries have a similar thing. When you move to Australia like I did, you still got to go to work, you've got to work 9 to 5, same in New Zealand and stuff, you've got to do that kind of thing. But I've never lived in a country other than the UK where the rat race is so real. I just feel like no one really aspires to get out of it. Everyone's just stuck in that system, and it's such, I say it a lot, and it is such a dangerous cycle, the UK, because most people, they go to their jobs Monday to Friday, they go to the pub Friday night, they go out again Saturday night, they wake up hungover so they get a takeaway, and then before they know it, they're back at work on Monday. And then they repeat that cycle for months and months and months. Maybe they might get a holiday where they go away for 2 weeks, relax, unwind, and then straight back to it, dreading work, hating their life because they don't like their job, but they've just accepted their situation. That, for me, sums up the UK, sums up the vibe in the UK, sums up everyone. And while some of you guys might want to go into a career and stuff, I don't feel like that's the sort of environment that, at least me, in my 20s, I didn't want to be surrounded by that. The benefit of moving abroad like I have is you surround yourself with other travelers, you're hearing people's amazing stories, you're meeting people who have made the same move as you, it's inspiring, and it's what I wanted to be surrounded by in my 20s. I didn't want to be surrounded by people who don't enjoy their jobs and all they do is go to the pub every weekend, because that's all I was surrounded by in the UK. And as much as I love my group of friends and going down the pub, that was the best thing about living in the UK, having them. It's not exactly what I wanted to be surrounded by every single week. I wanted to be meeting people who were on a similar journey to me and wanted more for themselves, not just stuck in this cycle. And I think anyone in their 20s will benefit from being away from that, being away from people who are so almost closed-minded and just going through this same cycle, because it is a massive trap. Number 3, the reason why people should get out of the UK in their 20s is because to travel and experience other cultures. Meeting people is one thing, which I just spoke about, but also experiencing other cultures. Obviously, this is my point of view. Not everyone cares about traveling and experiencing other cultures, but you take your average British person, like I said, they go to their job, they might go on holiday, they might go to Spain once a year, a little all-inclusive holiday for a couple of weeks, relax, and then they're straight back to the UK to their job, and they're never experiencing any other culture. I've learned so much by traveling and getting to experience other cultures, and I think it's the best thing ever, particularly for those people in their 20s, because you get to learn about the world, learn about what other people are like. And if you don't ever do that, you're so closed off to what the world's actually like. Your whole view is just the UK and maybe that all-inclusive holiday that you go on. You don't ever get to experience culture and see how other people live their lives and stuff. And trust me, especially traveling to places like Southeast Asia, it opens your eyes a lot to how other people live their lives, and it's quite inspiring in a lot of ways, because when you're in a country like that, no one cares about the system and stuff, and everyone's just doing their thing. It feels so free. So I think traveling, experiencing different cultures is a big reason why people in their 20s should get out of the UK, because it's good to learn and see about the world, and you'll learn a lot about yourself in the process as well. Number 4 is the UK is expensive, and there's simply just cheaper places that you can go. For example, if you were to save money in the UK on a UK wage and save up some decent money, you could go to, for example, Southeast Asia, go to Thailand, go to Vietnam, and because it's so cheap in them places, you can make your money last months and you can have an amazing time, compared to if you're just in the UK, where if you weren't to work for a bit, you're actually going to spend more money in the UK than you would in somewhere like Thailand, because it is so cheap. The UK is very expensive. The cost of living is going through the roof. The best thing you can do, and it was the same with Australia to be fair, because Australia is expensive, is earn your money in Australia because it pays so good, and then go to Asia where your money's going to last you months. And the UK is very expensive, so I don't know why you'd hang about in the UK, where you can spend a couple of years maybe living in Thailand or something, where the cost of living is so much cheaper, and also you're just going to live a way better life because it's beautiful there. And number 5 is the weather and the lifestyle. I just don't believe this suits people in their 20s. Obviously not everyone likes hot weather, going down the beach, going out doing outdoor activities, but people in their 20s, I think it's brilliant. I think it's what you should be doing in your 20s, you know what I mean? Getting out there, living a nice lifestyle, maybe getting a bit of sun, being outside more, meeting other people, doing outdoor activities. All this stuff is so good for you, do you know what I mean? And in your 20s, you want to look after yourself, you want to have good mental health, all this kind of thing. And it's being in the UK where you just go to your job, it's dark, it's cold, you go to the pub on the weekend, you see the sun once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks in the winter, you're spending the majority of your time inside. Like, it's not good for you, really, compared to being abroad where you're in the sun, you're down the beach, you're getting that nice sunlight, you want to eat healthier because the sun's out, and just living that outdoor lifestyle, doing activities, swimming, is so good for you, and it makes you so much healthier as well. And I think anyone in their 20s will benefit from living a more outdoor life rather than just that pub, job, takeaway kind of life that I feel like most people live in the UK. So they are 5 points. This isn't a hate on the UK video, you need to leave because it's I know the UK is a mess at the minute, it's having a lot of issues, but this is more just for people in their 20s, regardless of the issues in the UK, things that are in the UK anyway, like the weather and stuff. And I just believe that people in their 20s will benefit so much from being out of the UK. I'm not saying it has to be a permanent move. My move doesn't plan to be permanent. I've been living out of the UK for 3 years now. Will I stay living abroad forever? Probably not. I probably will move back. That's because I think in my 20s it's the best thing I can be doing. Will I want to settle abroad forever? I probably won't, but I think for people in their 20s, do a couple of years here and there, maybe Australia, maybe Asia, and try somewhere different, and it will benefit you so much. So thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.